Talk shoes. Recorded live.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Müvment Boxing Podcast, where we bring you the latest and greatest boxing news, all the reviews on the recent fights we've had. I'm on with my co-host today, the same panel as usual. We're short a couple. We may get Bernard on it a little bit. But right now, we got Bo from Truth and Facts About Boxing Talk.
What up, man? What's going on with you?
Not much, man. Another day, another dollar. You know what I'm saying? Doing this boxing talk, talking what we love. We got 2K the guy coming back in a second. He just has a minor technical difficulty, but he'll be on in a second.
Don't worry about it. I got 2K for you. What up, Sam? What up?
Here he comes. Alpha male. All right, we just got him back on the call. Let me unmute him.
Yeah, unmute him.
All right. And we should have Bernard coming on later. Big Crew couldn't join us today, so we can hold it down for our brethren from Collazo Boxing Talk today. Let me welcome 2K the God in back again from the Gods of Boxing Talk. What's going on with you, brother?
What's good, man? I had a little bit of technical difficulty, so I'm back on.
All right, y'all ready to get this week's show started?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to start off with the big fight review of the weekend, which was a cruiserweight title fight for the WBC title that was vacated by Tony Bellew. And we had Mairis Briedis going against Marco Huck in Germany yesterday. Man, I think I might be the only one that had a chance to view this one on our panel this week because it was overseas. I actually wasn't able to catch a replay of it until this morning. I found video of it floating around online. So it was a hard fight to catch if you didn't watch it streaming, while it was live. We had Briedis.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on. Before you get started, did you say the vacated belt by Tony Bellew?
Yeah, the WBC cruiserweight title.
Vacated as in this motherfucker went up?
Yeah, the first fight against David Hay.
So are you telling me that Tony Bellew been listening to the fans when they said he could fight at the heavyweight and maybe fight Wilder? I mean, is that what we possibly going to see?
He trying to cash out, man. You already know what it was.
I'm going to say this on the record.
Huh?
He vacated it prior to the Hay fight, didn't
he? Yeah. So that's what the belt that Briedis and Huck were fighting for yesterday was the WBC belt.
Well, I'm going to say right now on record, if he goes to fight Deontay Wilder, I ain't saying nothing. I'm going to let 2K have my time.
Man.
Yeah, I definitely don't see that one going down. Hopefully it doesn't, man, because, that's too quick of a knockout right there. But he seems like he's going to be testing himself at heavyweight. He says he has like a good 3 fights left in him. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess he's going to try and cash out with the heavyweights or something else since this Hay fight. But getting into this Briedis and Marco Huck fight, man, it was pretty much one-sided. I had it a unanimous decision. I struggled to give Huck any rounds. I say at the most it was 2 rounds that I could give him. Round 8 being the one that was the solid one, and round 6 was just questionable. I think actually Briedis did enough to win that one in the latter part of the round. So I really only gave Huck 1 round. Man, I've seen Briedis fight, I think, one other time prior to this, and I wasn't as impressed. This fight, man, he definitely looked like the goods. I don't want to make the excuse that it's an aging Marco Huck or whatever, Huck on the decline that he was fighting, but he was dominant. And he actually looked like he could compete with Alexander Usyk. Not saying he'd win, but he looked like he'd be pretty competitive compared to what we saw in Glowacki. He does a lot of things well, man. One is jab. He misses it up to the top end to the body. So that was one of the things I liked about it. He was able to catch Huck either with the straight right coming off the jab, or he was able to feint into the straight right. So he was pretty consistent with that all night. He has pretty good foot movement, better than I saw in his previous fight. So that's probably something he may have been working on in his last couple of fights. I definitely would like to see him in there against Usyk based on what I saw this morning, though, in the replay. He puts his punches together really well. He was able to go to the body of Huck, when Huck was trying to cover up. Thunderous hooks to the body, both with the left and the right hand. So, the way he puts his punches together is excellent. So I definitely would look forward to seeing him against Usyk if that fight happens, if it materializes. I was joking around with Bo earlier saying that he's now the number two cruiserweight in the division over Cuba Loco. Doritos, you know what I'm saying? Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos.
I don't understand where y'all get this bias. I have never been biased towards a Cuban fighter ever. This month.
Oh, shit. I'm not surprised that Briedis actually got his ass out of there, man, and pretty easily. I made a prediction that nobody can verify. It was an in-home prediction. You know what I'm saying? So.
One of them predictions, okay.
One of them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So, I had said that Briedis could probably win this fight simply because of everything Twine pretty much already went to, and that's the fact that he's an excellent boxer, and he's one of those. He doesn't have the movement of Alexander Usyk, but he does have pretty good movement for a cruiserweight, in my opinion. I've always thought that of him. So to hear that he actually displayed decent movement in this fight against a guy, Marco Huck, is really going to try to brawl with you, catch you standing mid-range to inside distance with him so he can land his bomb. If you're using any type of movement against him and boxing from the outside, then you have some type of advantage there. And I knew that Briedis had that ability. I think he had the reach advantage on Marco Huck, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But being able to outbox Marco Huck, the abilities needed to do so were all in Briedis' favor. So I was actually thinking that he had a good chance of winning this fight. So I'm not surprised that he took it so easily.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna take it a step further. I made an in-car while I was driving prediction. That this would be a good fight. It's sad, but it's like Marco Huck, man. Ever since losing to what's the guy he lost to when he lost the belt after making him title, the guy that Usyk beat. Milwaukee. Seems like after losing to Milwaukee, man, it's been kind of hard for him to pick up momentum. So. Right. This was at the time he was one of the top cruiserweights we've seen, but ever since losing to Kawaki, it's been hard for him to pick up that momentum. So
you know what, Bo? I'm gonna go a little further than that. I think ever since he moved up to heavyweight and lost to Alexander Povetkin, he's lost momentum because right after that, he had a draw with Ola Afolabi, and then after that he fought him again and fought old-ass Firat Arslan twice. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he lost to Glowacki. So, I would say shit as far as, I'd say as far back as 2012, man.
Yeah, so it's just sad because it was a guy, again, that we talk about that was on top. And this is why we say you got to respect these fighters, man, because one loss, and that one loss is it. One loss could put you out of everything.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess moving forward, what do you guys see happening with the cruiserweight division? Just playing off this fight, 2K. I'll probably want to get your assessment first. Where did you have Briedis prior to this fight, as far as compared to Usyk? Who we pretty much think is the guy at cruiserweight right now. How did you have him stacked? Are those odds, or as far as ranking compared in cruiserweights? with Dortico, Shumanov, and the rest of those guys that are mixed around in that pack.
Right. To be honest with you, I had him losing to a guy like Garcia, so we won't even talk about where I had him stacked up against Alexander Usyk. And this was, of course, before this fight. There's not too much material out on Mairis Briedis. I was able to see a few streamed events and shit back in the past that he's been in. And, looking at the level of competition that he's fought prior, it's kind of hard to say, given his skill set, that he would have been stacking up to a guy like Alexander Usyk or, a Denis Lebedev or a Golovkin, just looking at that. But after the Marco Huck fight, a guy that fights similar to a Golovkin, very similar to a Denis Lebedev, probably better actually than Denis Lebedev in my opinion. I think that he definitely he can look good against the pressure fighters of the cruiserweight division. Now, against the guys that actually move, like Alexander Usyk and even Makabu, Ilunga Makabu, I think he might have a little bit of trouble there against the movers and boxers of the division. But I like him. Honestly, if I were him, I would go after IBF champion Murat Gassiev, the Mr. Upright Robotic, fighter of the cruiserweight division. That would be a belt, another belt that he could put on his waist. And I think it's a fight that he could win pretty easily.
All right. Bo, you got anything you want to chime in on as far as your thoughts on what's going to happen with the cruiserweight division following this fight?
Yeah, the cruiserweight division is hot. I feel like I said, the only reason why people don't pay attention to the cruiserweight division because there's no Americans in it, and there's Americans in it. We don't have a horse in that game. But if you look at Alexander Usyk, you look at Garcia, you look at Lebedev, you look at Shumanov, you look at, like you said, Briedis, you look at Andrew Tabiti, you look at Yuriorkis, you look at all these guys, man, it's a hot division right now with some very good fights. So, it's a division that should be paid more attention to, but unfortunately it's between light heavyweight and heavyweight, and we have no Americans in the game. So it's going to go just overlooked.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of Briedis. Like I said, I wasn't as impressed with him in the first time I saw him. This fight, I saw a little bit more out of him. His punch placement, his alteration with his hooks, I was impressed with a lot that I saw in this fight. So I definitely think he could contend with the upper echelon of fighters. With this being his breakout performance. I guess that was really the only question with him, going against one of the top-notch guys, and he beat a guy that was a long-time champ in the division. So that'll lead us to our next topic. We've had a couple of a little bit of back and forth between these two fighters in the media recently, Mikey Garcia and Vasyl Lomachenko, and it's looking like it may lead to some possibilities at 135 with the stuff we've been hearing about Lomachenko moving up since he can't get a fight. That's the quote they're using. Nobody wants to fight him at 130. Let me get you guys' take on it, but first I'll go ahead and put out the little news that was out there. Pretty much Garcia put out there he didn't think Lomachenko was worth all the praises he's getting right now. At this early stage of his career. Considering he lost to a guy in Orlando Salido that Garcia dominated. And pretty much Lomachenko responded on social media saying, I could give you attention and we could come into the ring, So that was basically his response. TK seems like he has a lot to say about this already.
Yeah, we both do, actually. Go ahead, TK.
I don't have a lot to say. I was just commentating. I was doing what niggas do, you know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that Mikey went at him like this because just think Mikey left Top Rank. He was one of the higher touted prospects on Top Rank, and then he became one of the highly touted contenders, and then he became one of the best fighters in the game under Top Rank. So there might be a little bit of sourness that he's pretty much displaying with all the attention that Lomachenko is getting, and like he said himself, he hasn't really done too much given, you know, the fact that he just jumped into the sport and he lost to a guy that he's already dominated. So it might be a little bit of sourpuss there, you know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that he's going at him and he's like, I'll fight the motherfucker, you know. I like the fact that Vasyl Lomachenko called him out and said, hey, shit, you talking all that shit? Let's do it in the ring, which is the exact same thing that I would do if a motherfucker was talking shit about me. So the only problem with this, I don't see Lomachenko going to 135 in his next fight right after Jayson Sosa. I don't see it happening. I mean, if he does, cool. If I'm wrong, that's good because maybe we can actually get this fight made. But I don't see it happening. Also, Mikey Garcia has intentions on moving up to 140 and possibly 147 right now because he himself feels that he can't get fights with – he won't be able to get fights with the top fighters in the 135-pound division, and rightfully so. I don't think they're going to throw Robert Easter at him. Jorge Linares, they were talking about that fight. That fight may or may not materialize. If it does, I really believe Jorge Linares gets his ass tossed up, you know what I'm saying, and he probably believes that too. I mean, just the performance that he gave against Vlad Cannon, I could see a lot of 135-pounders moving in a different direction from Mikey Garcia. So, and also talking about, you know, possible matchup with Terence Crawford, you know, after, you know, one of the topics we're talking about later, Terence Crawford and Felix Diaz is over with. So he's got a lot on the table that he can explore beyond 135. So there's little anomalies here and there that point in the direction of this fight probably won't get made. But who knows? I like the shit that they're talking. And if they really believe, each one of them really believe that they can beat one another and they can make money off this fight, which I feel they can make a lot of money off this type of fight, that, hey, we might see a mega class soon. Who knows?
All right, Bolo, let me pass it along to you. Let me get your thoughts on the candor between these two highly rated fighters.
My thing is, like everything 2K said, listen, I like the fact Mikey Garcia is talking shit. I like the fact Lomachenko's talking shit. Here's the reality people got to understand is how other guys in the sport of boxing was able to become the man or make a move or position themselves. They called out a motherfucker who was being talked about by the general public. If the general public was talking constantly about Floyd, everybody's calling Floyd. When they was talking about Oscar, everybody was calling for Oscar. When they was talking about Leonard, everybody was calling for Leonard. So for those that have a problem with Mikey is doing, I say fuck you, because that shit is part of the history of pugilism. When you're the hot dude, motherfuckers gonna call you out. What you supposed to do? That's what Vasyl Lomachenko did. Okay, motherfucker, you stay right there, and when I'm done here, I'll come that way. That's what I like. But what I don't like, I'm sick and I'm fucking tired of everybody sucking the dick of Top Rank with this bullshit crying wolf, nobody wants to fight me. I'm sick of hearing that shit. When you make one offer to one motherfucker, like you make an offer to one motherfucker, and we don't know what you offered him, we don't know how much he was going to get, we don't know none of this shit. But all of a sudden, he turns it down. Oh, well, nobody wants to fight him. I'm so tired of hearing that shit coming out of Top Rank. And everybody seems to be running along with it, and it irks me to no end because it's like I refuse to believe cats like Kevin Farmer, Orlando Salido, who has been calling you, but your team don't want to pay him, okay? Takeya Shimura, Francisco Vargas, Javier Fortuna, Gonzalez, Johnny Gonzalez. I refuse to believe these motherfuckers are telling y'all no. So that's the only thing that bugs me is I just get tired of always hearing that nobody wants to fight, nobody wants to fight. I'm like, okay, who did you talk to? What the fuck did you offer? Because if you offered another guy with a title a measly 100,000 or 200,000, he's supposed to tell you go kiss my ass. He's supposed to tell you that shit. Especially if the other dude gonna make almost $1 million. He's supposed to tell you that.
Here's the problem with Lomachenko here. He has that high-ass guarantee, which gets in the way of a lot of fights being made, a la, Rigo and, the first time with Nicholas Walters, who actually had to accept less cash.
The first and second time.
Yeah, you know. So, you know, it's definitely something that's like guaranteed that's affecting the quality of it.
That's my only issue. And that's my only issue. So before motherfuckers who listen to this say I'm clowning Lomachenko, which you're going to say anyway, okay, whatever. If you say it, fine, whatever. But listen to my point. I'm tired of hearing them say nobody wants to fight him when you only offer one motherfucker something and we don't know what you offer him. If you offered him, say we offered him $500K, he said, no, okay. But if you tell him you offered another champion $100 or $200K, he's supposed to tell you, fuck you, when the other motherfucker going to get almost $1 million. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're supposed to pay a motherfucker for the risk.
Like, I definitely think Lomachenko is what people think he is as far as being, you know, the talent that he is. But I think people don't read between the lines with a lot of stuff that's happened on the other side of the fence. Not just in the ring, opponent-wise, but in the business dealings. And, you know, like, I kind of had to I can't hold him accountable necessarily. It's a top-ranked thing, an issue with top-ranked.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly, because he's the talent. I mean, you can definitely see the skill and the talent, and you can definitely see why people are high on him. You know, you can definitely see that. But, because, like, I don't see nobody at 130 beating him. And I know damn well Florida ain't going to put Deontay Davis in it with him. He ain't going to do that shit at all.
He already said he was.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, a guy like Tevin Farmer is too much of a high-risk, low-reward kind of a fight for him to take. So,
right.
I mean, that's the only guy I really see at 130 that might give him some problems.
It's an interesting fight for him at 135, even if he don't fight Garcia. There's some really interesting fights for him at 135, you know.
Yeah, just especially with the size of a lot of these guys up there. You know, you got Flanagan, who's tall as hell, Easter tall as hell. So just seeing
Flanagan ain't trying to fight nobody.
Huh?
Flanagan ain't trying to fight nobody.
Well, he got Petrov coming up, so you know that might be the
But that's my point, though. Peter Petrov is the lower end of the top fighters at 130. You know what I'm saying? He could have fought any of those other top 10 ranked fighters in his division, and he chose Peter Petrov, who's the very last ranked guy in that division. That's what I'm saying. And I think he's with Frank Warren. Frank Warren is that type of promoter who's not going to put his fighters out there in the ring with some of the best in the division if he's an undefeated champion. He's not going to do that, fam.
Well, 2K, you ain't going to like this. Well, 2K, you're not going to like this for some odd reason. I agree with you. But as of today, Peter Petrov is ranked number 2 by the WBO.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about he is the number 10 ranked 130-pounder on the pound for pound. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about belt rankings because that's completely bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at fucking Bermain Stavern right now, the WBC belt. I don't care about those. What I care about when I talk about rankings, I look at the best fighters in a given division, and that's looking at the Ring Magazine rankings. BoxRec has their own, but BoxRec are fucking ridiculous. This shit, the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. So even though I don't really like Oscar De La Hoya, his ranking system that he has for each division is pretty on point. You know what I'm saying? And they've got Peter Petrov at number 10 in the division. And you've got 8 other guys ranked higher than him that you could have fought. He chooses the number 10 guy. But he's been doing that. You look at his fucking resume. He's fighting a bunch of guys that aren't highly ranked like that. You know, they may be highly ranked for his belt, but they're not highly ranked in the division. You see what I'm saying? So, meanwhile, you know, niggas like Robert Easter Jr. and shit, he's fighting motherfuckers at a high. I mean, Richard Comey was at number 5 and shit when he fought him. You know what I'm saying, on those rankings. Mikey Garcia fought Vladimir Cannon. That nigga was high. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody else is fighting the higher ranked guys, but Terry Flanagan's not. And that's because he's with Frank Warren. I guarantee it.
That's true.
Yeah, and I've always said I think he was the weak link prior to old boy being dispatched by Linares.
Yep.
I always thought Flanagan was pretty much the weak link at 135. So I mean, Petrov, I think it's actually a fight Petrov should be able to win. You know, and that's with him being a lower tier guy at the lower end of the top 10.
Right.
that said, I guess we're going to go on to this next little topic, man. I didn't even want to do this shit. I mean, but I've been kind of dragged into this because of a couple of posts over the past couple of weeks by Bo and his partner in crime, Bernard, whose ass ain't even on the show tonight, but wanted to start some shit. I guess we got to do it, man. So, it's going to be short and sweet on my end. I ain't got much to really say because I'm kind of tired of dealing with the shit already being tagged.
Yeah, are any of you fellas by your phone?
But we gonna go in on this Adonis Stevenson topic. I'm gonna let Bo go ahead and get it in because I already know what he pretty much gonna go.
Here we go. You gonna let me go first? You know what?
Opponents, I tell you what. His lackluster opponents and yada 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 and the opportunity.
That's not. You know what? That's not even my issue with Adonis Stevenson. That's just my issue to supporting this.
Bo, before y'all start, Twan, we do got a caller from Florida on the line. If you want to take that first before, because this.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I kind of got a feeling this is Diesel for some reason, but we'll see who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Diesel.
What up, though?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Oh, coolin', man. What's cracking with y'all boys, man?
Not much. I'm glad you could call in. We got Darnell Diesel Boone on the line, man. Thanks for calling me, brother.
Oh, no doubt. You know I rock with y'all boys heavy, man.
No doubt.
You know you roll with us with them kids in the background always crying, man. What's up?
I know, right?
They want daddy attention like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I got to get y'all no matter the cost, you know what I mean? Yeah, so what's up, man?
What's going on your way, Diesel?
Oh,
Diesel,
man,
you had a fight not too long ago, right, Diesel?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You want to talk about that a little bit and talk about what you're gonna be doing later on, future plans?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, man. That fight was crazy, man. It was one of them days where wasn't nothing coming out, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't even got no excuse for it. It just wasn't my day. And everything like my coaches and them was saying to do, I seen it open, and he wasn't really doing too much, but the extra stuff that I'm normally used to doing, I wasn't doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think
what do you think took away from your focus, the focus in the ring on that night?
I don't know. I don't know if it was the layoff. I don't know, was I thinking too much? I don't know. All I know is that it wasn't my night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything wasn't. Huh?
What we got coming up for you? You got the other bout schedule coming up off that one. To keep.
Yeah, I'm looking to fight in the same spot. May 5th.
Okay.
So just trying to really stay busy, and I think that's what the main thing is, staying busy.
You got any possible opponents' names lined up, or is that's still in the talks right now?
Well, they looking themselves. You know what I'm saying? He said that he willing to help me get back on track. So we'll see what happens. I know whoever it is, I'm whooping his ass though.
Hey, there's a misconception about what weight you're at. A lot of people still think you're fighting at 160, 168. Where you at right now, man?
I'm gonna be fighting at 175 because don't nobody really want to fight me at 68. So
yeah,
I'm kind of chilling at 175 because all the money is at 75. You know what I mean? There ain't really too many guys that's fighting at 68. That's just some significance. And then the ones that is there, they people don't want to fight me.
All right.
How do you feel about the weight at 175? Have you noticed a difference? Any big difference so far?
I don't like it. I actually think it's too big for me. But with the way how the fights come, I gotta kind of like take what I can get. So my main thing is just stay ready.
All right.
I know what it is. Before you go into that, hold on. I know what it is, Boone, and don't lie to me. This is 2K. You already know I'm gonna get at you if I catch you lying, fam. You trying to get back at Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward at 175. Am I lying? Am I bullshitting, or am I telling the truth?
Please believe it. I'm glad you said it, because I was going to say it next. Like, you trying to get Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. Yes, sir.
You already know it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm trying to catch him when I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because when I fought Ward, I was basically in there by myself. You know what I'm saying? My corner wasn't telling me what to do. You know what I mean?
You took that fight on 6 days' notice, I thought, right?
5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I fought Ward on 5 days' notice, and the only reason why I fought him because I have been watching him, and I'm sitting in the house one day, and I'm watching. I told the girl that I was with this time, I'm like, baby, I could beat this dude. Yeah. And no sooner than I said that, like probably like 4 weeks later, the fight came up, and I'm like, yeah, I'll fight him. So I flew home, and I was working up for a minute, because they said they didn't call back to see what the fight gonna happen. So I was just training, and they waited till like 5 days out to say they was gonna take the fight.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, he told us. He actually told us that. Yeah, you actually gave us all that information. That 2-part interview we did with you on my channel before the Ward-Kovalev fight. You talked about a lot of the different political injustices that you went through, before that Kovalev fight. We're talking about how, I think you said you knocked Kovalev down like 4 times, I believe.
Yeah, but three legit, could have been 4, but
right.
They say because he bounced off the ropes and then he took a knee that, was a slip, but it was a hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Came across that melon, so.
Yeah, that's a good-ass interview right there. I'm still waiting on that tape, man.
There's still no tape for that fight, boy. For some reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna shoot it to Brook through his messenger. As soon as I charge my digital camera up.
Word up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because you can't find that motherfucker nowhere on YouTube.
Man, listen, man. I was busting home up. I was manhandling, you know what I'm saying? And see, I was ranked 25 in the WBC then, after I knocked out Adonis Stevenson. And I fought him right after. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even in the fight, he didn't even think he won. So you know how that is, man.
Oh yeah. But there's never a rematch unless it's questionable. Yeah.
You know what I want to say though. I just want to say right quick, man. The fact that Donnell can come on here after taking a loss and just come out and just say, "Hey, it wasn't my night." You don't hear that from too many motherfuckers, man. Like, you hear fans give a lot of these fighters excuses when it's not their night, and I appreciate Donnell for just coming out with being honest with me. Hey, it wasn't my night. Shit.
For sure, man. I'm always gonna keep it 1,000, man. No matter win, lose, or draw, man. If it is what it is. You know what I mean? Just wasn't my day.
Word up.
All right, on something. Yeah, man. Just because it's we haven't had a show in a couple weeks, so I'm kind of dying to get your take on it, considering that you've done a lot of camp work with Triple G and Abel in the past. What were your thoughts about Triple G's performance in the Daniel Jacobs fight, and how did you see the fight going?
I'm thinking personally, I thought it was probably like a underestimation, and they thought he was gonna fight one way. And he ended up changing up the program on them, so they had to readjust.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought. And I think Triple G did a really good job of staying composed and just keep, banging down and doing whatever game plan they came up with. He stuck to it. And I think when that 12th round was the difference. He won that 12th round pretty big, but I thought it was close. You know, I thought it was super close. And if he didn't win that 12th round, he'd have lost the fight.
Okay. Do you have any plans of doing any work with their camp in the future? I know you're trying to get more active into your career right now. Do you have the intention of going back to work with Ankle and Georgia?
Well, they mainly had probably like the rangy punchers in this camp this time. But, you know what I mean, probably next camp, most likely I'll probably be in there.
Okay. All right, Diesel, definitely keep us in tune. I mean, I'm glad you call in and check in with us periodically, man. Definitely keep us in tabs of what's going on with your career, man, and thanks for the support, bro.
Oh, no doubt, bro.
All right, thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir.
All right, Diesel.
All right, bro.
All right, D.
All right, so we're going to get into this little Adonis Stevenson. I don't even want to say it's a debate. It's just a one-way hateration. That's what the hell we doing.
One-way hateration.
You know what? Mary J. Blige, hateration, holleration.
Okay. Well, you know what then? Fuck it. I'll take hateration because here's the thing. I'm doing no Adonis Stevenson. What I've done to everybody holding the most prestigious belt in boxing, it ain't showing me shit worth them holding it. It's not about his opponents. It's not about his opponents. We can sit up and go through it. But my thing is, if we're going to go and attack Deontay Wilder's level of competition, his opponents, if we're going to do this to Gennady Golovkin, if we even did it to motherfucking Danny Garcia, okay? We've even done it to motherfucking Kell Brooks. And you have to look at what Adonis Stevenson has been doing lately. Boxing is about what has been done lately. Yeah.
Bo, before you finish, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. This shit hurts the fuck out of me. You ready for this? Kell Brook. I can't stand when niggas put an S on the end of this nigga's last name.
Bo is the main one. Bo is the main one.
Bo's not the only one that does that shit, though, man. I be seeing motherfuckers actually type it up and shit. Brook. No, nigga. Kell Brook. All right, let's go, Bo.
Okay, so Kell Brooks. I'm going to say how I want to say it, motherfucker. You ain't my daddy. Kell Brooks. That motherfucker, check that nigga. Look at him. He fixed it. Fuck that. If we criticize these guys' resumes, you have to look at what Adonis has done lately. And it has been kind of unimpressive. And my only issue, and I haven't really jumped on him like I want to for as long as I want to. My issue is, how do you pay your mandatory step-aside money to fight a dude ranked number 10? That's the I'm searching the fucking Google to find somebody that has done something like that. How do you pay your mandatory step-aside money to fight somebody outside of the top 10, and that's okay? It should not be okay. We should not be accepting mediocrity from our fucking champions. Especially when they're holding the most prestigious belt in boxing.
You remember when I said I had an easy way to squash this? Well, you just gave me the fucking ammo. You pretty much answered your own damn question without answering it. Who has a one-stop shop at 175 in Montreal? I mean, we get on Bob Arum about this shit all the time, man. The in-house fighting. We have a guy in Montreal, and Johnny Michael. GYM Promotions. He has a one-stop shop. He owns 175 pretty much, and he's coming to the end of that 175 because of the demise of guys like John Pascal and Lucien Yu. Chalimba's even fought out of Montreal for some time, but he's not out there anymore. But that's how deep he had it. 175 was on lock. Until Pascal fell off, Duke fell off, and he's got more chances than any goddamn body. Speaking of, though, Alvarez. Why isn't the blame put on him? He's been mandatory for over a year. He's the one that accepted another fight with Lucian, that accepted a fight to become mandatory again against Lucian View. I mean, it's obvious what's going on here. It's not all Adonis. I'll definitely give some blame to him. You know what I'm saying? But I got to call it like we do with Bob Arum. It's in-house shit. You know what I'm saying? It's simple as that, man. Like, there ain't nothing big about it. I mean, I don't know why you guys tagged me in this shit about the post the other day. I mean, at least the motherfuckers looking to fight. I mean, shit. You guys are mad because a cable network won't pick up the fight now? What the fuck?
No, we mad because you paid the mandatory step-aside money. That's what, dude, see, you're missing the whole thing. I don't give a fuck about
he
it.
did. John D. Michael did. You got to
he shouldn't be okay with it as a fighter. He shouldn't be okay with that, though. That's what I'm saying, Twan.
Okay, that's been the history of boxing. We've always had promoters doing this kind of thing and being in control of stuff, of situations. So, like, I see what it is. I don't think it's a situation where Stevenson won't fight Alvarez. It's definitely nothing like that. This is a guy trying to hold on.
He don't seem to be tripping about it either, do he? He don't seem to be saying, hey, wait a minute, whoa. This is the motherfucker I want to fight right here. He don't seem to be doing that. That's what I'm saying. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. And I said the same thing about Deontay Wilder. The fighter got to show that, hey, listen, these ain't my moves, but I'm not cool with that. And the motherfuckers don't be, and they seem to be cool with shit like that, and that's what bothers me. That's all I'm saying.
I could definitely feel you on that, but I'm just like, you got to look at, you know, this is a promoter doing his thing right here, and he's coming down to the last of the line. I mean, with Alvarez, he's really going to lose control of everything as far as Adonis's opponents, you know, once that shit is done. So I think he's really just been milking that stable of 175 for all he can. I mean, that's just my logic looking at the whole situation. 2K. Well, actually, I'm actually going. Since you want to holler out about me being a Caribbean bum supporter, and what's up with Sullivan Barrera fighting the 8-1 motherfucker? Yeah.
Hold on, wait a minute, stop. I'm glad you went that motherfucker because I got you right now with this right here, right? What have you said when it came to Oscar De La Hoya, right? And Triple G, you said Oscar throw out a number, but the other side don't say something, right? This is what you always say. Well, Barrera didn't try to fight Better Bees. Better Bees them said one thing, Barrera them shot back. Better Bees them said something else, Barrera them shot back. So they shooting back and forth. So the only option you got at this time, I ain't cool with this. He fighting the motherfucker 8-1. Just like Luis Ortiz fighting the motherfucker that was, 9-2 or some shit like that. I'm not cool with it. It's a step back coming off a big win against Shabransky. That is not a WBC champion, either, though, is it?
Nope.
Thank you.
And you know what? To add on to that, at least Sullivan Barrera. Now, I get your point, Twine. I was going to say I agree with what you said about, the promoter out there in Montreal trying to milk his stable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I agree with that. But I also agree with Bo, and this has always been my biggest take on these fighters, fam. You have to call for the bigger fights if you want the respect. We got a motherfucker that moved up from 168 and fought the dude that you were supposed to fight for the last 3 years. The nigga came off an injury and moved up and waited and fought the dude you were supposed to fight in the last, 4 years, since 2012. Not actually 5 years, shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and then in the same division, the motherfucker you were supposed to fight in the last 5 years took on the dude that you were supposed to fight that he beat, and that was Bernard Hopkins. You were supposed to fight Bernard. You didn't want it, so the dude you're supposed to fight, Sergey Kovalev, came in and said, well, I'll fucking fight him, and I'll take the accolades for beating a goddamn Hall of Famer. And he did it. So Adonis Stevenson has not been calling for the fights in order to make him a great at 175 and a remembered legend at 175. That's the problem I have with him. Now, going into the Sullivan Barrera situation, at least Sullivan Barrera is actually trying to fight niggas that matter You know what I'm saying? He fought Andre Ward. He's trying to fight Arthur Beterbiev. He fought Vyacheslav Shabransky. Those three guys haven't even been on fucking, what's-his-name's radar, Adonis Stevenson, and they've been in the same division besides Andre Ward. But Shabransky and Beterbiev, they've been in the same division just as longer than Adonis Stevenson, and they're not even on his radar. But Sullivan Belez is trying to fight these guys. You see what I'm saying? He couldn't get the fight with Beterbiev, so now he's forced to fight an 8-1 motherfucker. Adonis Stevenson is fighting whack niggas like Tommy Carpenter just off his own merit without calling for fights. Yes, sir, it's mandatory, but you can always pay a mandatory step-aside money if you're going to substitute him for a huge money fight, like with Sergey Kovalev or with somebody else of fucking name recognition in a division that we actually respect. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's not doing. He's just taking these fights because he knows they're going to be easy opponents and he's going to still remain champion. That's all Adonis cares about. He is hoarding the shit out of the WBC belt, as I said before, because it was a dream come true for him. He was actually a tune-up for Chad Dawson. He was supposed to be the guy that Chad Dawson was just going to beat the shit out of and immediately put himself back in the light heavyweight contention after getting knocked out by Andre Ward. When he didn't do that, and he actually did the complete opposite, he knocked him the fuck out in the first round, that was a dream come true for him, dog. So he's not trying to lose that fame. That's why he has no problem fighting these bum-ass niggas nobody fucking knows. That's why he's not calling for the higher-level competition where we look at the fight on paper and be like, damn, nigga could actually lose this fight. You know what I'm saying? Alida Alvarez is a guy that I think he can beat, but at the same time, it's like, well, he could possibly lose, and I'm pretty sure he knows that. That's why he's not calling for it. That's why he's okay with this bullshit. Alvarez? Right, I'm saying I think he loses. I think Alida Alvarez loses to him.
Yeah, I don't think he had the one fight I feel like Adonis ever really had fear of taking was Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? I've already touched on that one. As far as everybody else, I don't think it's been a matter of him, you know what I'm saying, not wanting to fight him or anything like that. It's just. I think it is, fam.
I think it is when you compare Alida Alvarez to who he may be fighting. Like, look at Joe Smith Jr. That fight should have took place. Joe Smith Jr., yes, he's had 2 miracle wins, but still he's very technically flawed. You see what I'm saying?
But why didn't the fight happen? I mean, and this is something that I thought Bo was going to mention, and I was going to tear into his ass if he did. But, I mean, this motherfucker was trying to call for A-side shots. I mean, I didn't think there was any merit to that shit. I mean, Bo thinks it is because of B-Hop, and that wasn't he beat B-Flop. He didn't beat B-Hop. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that shit motherfucking clear. I mean, he didn't beat B-Hop. He beat B-Flop.
But fam, he wasn't supposed. But fam, he wasn't supposed to beat B-Hop. All of us, except Bernard, said that B-Hop was gonna win, and Bernard only said that shit because that nigga likes going for the underdog in his casual moments, and the nigga actually ended up getting it right. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't supposed to beat B-Hop, fam, but he did. So he's got to have some. I'm not saying he should get A-side. He's not a champion. He's not bringing anything to the table as far as belts and accolades.
So this is something that Bo was saying that there's actually some merit to that shit before. And I was like, hell, motherfucking no. Not for no WBC silver belt and for beating B-Flop. I mean, I think
he has leverage. I mean, like I said, I don't know what he was offered. I don't know what they said to him. I don't know any of the negotiation inside information. But all I do know is he does have some type of negotiation tool going in there and saying, hey, I beat a motherfucker that you didn't even want to fight. And he was the underdog in that fight. The odds had him the underdog. All the boxing enthusiasts had him losing that fight. So it doesn't matter if and it's funny you said B-Flop because that's just true, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we thought B-Flop was going to beat this nigga, and he didn't. So he deserves to have some type of leverage in negotiation by saying, hey, I beat an all-time great that everyone thought I was going to lose to. And he's also an all-time great that you ducked. So I need to have some type of leverage in this negotiation process. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
either way,
I just couldn't give him A side. You know what I'm saying? Off of that.
No doubt. I agree with that.
I mean, and that's pretty much the sticking point that I've seen that ended the talks, because Adonis wanted to fight him. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty much what it came down to, the whole A side, B side shit, as usual with a lot of these fights. I mean,
right.
So, I mean, we'll keep our eyes open on what happens. It's looking like he's going to be fighting Sean Monahan, but they can't find a network.
That dude is whack. He is garbage.
But this is the same fight that Joe Smith Jr. was trying to get to, and it was okay.
But I understand that. But Joe Smith Jr. is at that level, though, fam. Yes, but listen to what I'm saying. Yes, Joe Smith Jr. got 2 miracle wins. But if you look at his skill set as a whole, he's at the Sean Monaghan level. You see what I'm saying? Adonis Stevenson is not. Adonis Stevenson is much higher than the Sean Monaghan level, fam. And he's been a champion for like what? How many fucking years? Like 4 years? He's been a champion for a while now. You can't be fighting Sean Monaghan. Yeah, okay, so you can't be fighting Sean Monaghan. Sean Monaghan is trash. Dude is older than me. And he started his career older than me. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
And that's my issue, Ron. You pay Amando Step Aside to fight Sean Monaghan.
Exactly.
That's the issue. You see what I'm saying?
This is the same problem they tried to say Andre Ward was ducking. They tried to say Andre Ward ducked Sean Monaghan and Vasyl Shabransky. Now, enthusiasts laugh like a motherfucker. I mean, I'm looking at YouTube videos from respectable cats out there, and they're just laughing at niggas. I mean, they're not even breaking down why he didn't duck these guys. It's not even worth breaking down, fam. It's like it's fucking hilarious, right? But then look who's trying to fight. You see what I'm saying? It's not even worth your time. Why are you even in negotiations with this? Give this nigga $5 and y'all can get in the ring. You don't even need to negotiate that fight. This dude is garbage. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. I do not. He should be fighting a leader Alvarez. 100%. There's no way, like I said,
we got to give culpability everywhere to where it's due. And like I said, I don't think it's all on Adonis with this shit with Alvarez. I think a lot of it being promoter based. You got to. Alvarez was the one that took the second what the hell do they call that shit, eliminator? Yeah, that he didn't have to. So I mean, so who's really taking extra time? I mean, you know, like what is really behind all this? I don't think that he's, you know, like we say, people are saying now Haymon killed boxing. He's not that fucking powerful. I mean, Adonis Stevenson ain't that fucking powerful. I mean, this is one fighter here compared to a guy that holds a whole stable of 175 fighters. But he
has the most prestigious. He has the most prestigious belt in boxing. You cannot be nothing unless you got that green belt, fam. You could be the WBO, WBA, and IBF champion, but the most recognized motherfucker is the one with that WBC belt and the lineal champion. Those are the 2 most recognized belts. You see what I'm saying? The lineal being the Ring Magazine belt. So. But if you don't have a green belt or the ring, you ain't not really. Go ahead, bro.
He got stripped of that ring. I thought back in 2015 in November.
No, I'm not saying he has that belt. I'm just saying the green belt and the lineal Ring Magazine belt are the 2 most.
Being taken from somebody without it being lost in actual fight too. That was something that I thought was funny, but, you know.
No, you know what? I agree with it. Fuck that. And you are not keeping no goddamn lineal Ring Magazine belt, and you continuously don't fight none of the top 10 ranked fighters in your division. Absolutely not. You're not keeping it. They stripped this nigga when he fought Dmitry Sikorsky. I mean, look to the beginning of his last name. Suck. That's the beginning of his last name. That's the second right there. You should not be in the ring with him. Dmitry Sikorsky.
WBC number 10 ranked.
It doesn't matter, fam. No, we're talking about the lineal belt. He was not ranked in the top 10. He was not ranked in the top 10 at the 175-pound division. Neither was Tommy Carpenter. Neither was Sekio Pika. You know what I'm saying?
Ron, check this out.
Hold on,
wait a minute. Check this out. Now, because you brought up Sullivan Beretta. Last 3 opponents, Murat, Andre Ward, Sabransky, has a win-loss record percentage of 72-2. Bika, Karpansky, and Williams, 77-11. You can't justify that, dog. I'm sorry. You can't justify.
Well, it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. But you're absolutely right about that, Bo, and that's a good point. But what I'm just trying to say is, you know, I agree with them stripping him the lineal belt because you cannot fight guys who are not ranked in the top 10 of the division. I understand they're ranked top 10 in the WBC. Who gives a fuck about that when we're talking about the lineal belt? You have to fight the best in the division to still be seen as the best fighter in the division. You see what I'm saying? Now, morally, he's still the lineal champion.
I think Ring TV got to fight.
Hold on. Morally, he's still the lineal champion. Morally, he's still the lineal champion. But Ring was like, fuck that. You're not upholding our belt the way that we want you to uphold them. You're not upholding the standards or adhering to the standards that we want our champions to adhere to. You're not fighting the best. You're fighting the second-level fighters and saying that they're credible title defenses. We're going to take that belt from you. And that's what they did. I wholeheartedly agree with it 100%. Go ahead, Bo.
No, I'm going to say the ring stipulation is you got to fight somebody in the top 5 in a 2-year time frame.
Okay. That's even better. Then. You know, I would be mad if he fought 3, you know, I just named Sekio Bika, Tommy Carpenter, and fucking Dimitri Sikorsky. Let's say those 3 were just ranked 8 by Ring TV, and Ring TV stripped them, I would be mad. But they weren't even ranked 8. They weren't even ranked 9. They weren't even ranked 10. Shit, Sekio Bika came up from 168 and lost his last fight. And went to 175, and it was a credible title defense. Like, come on, man. No, take that shit from him.
I mean, if he fights fights outside of Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, I think everybody's going to have problems with. I mean, that's just me. I don't think he'd get credit for any.
I don't think so. I want him to fight Alito Alvarez. I don't have a problem with the Alito Alvarez fight at all.
We're talking you, TK. You're one of the boxing purists here, baby. Casuals, everybody else.
He can't look at most of the names. At least right now.
Get the fuck out of here. Y'all wouldn't have been happy with Clever.
No, I wouldn't say shit if he was Nathan Clever is ranked number 7 by the ring, so I can't argue that.
Y'all would be talking. Well, I know a lot of people would be talking shit about Clever.
I ain't gonna say he fights Nathan Cleverly. He's ranked number 7 by the ring. I ain't gonna get mad
I'll guarantee you. I know how these groups work. Cleverly, he would get bashed for that goddamn fight. I just know how these groups work, man. I mean, anybody outside of fucking pretty much Kovalev, Bitterbeef, or Ward, the dinosaurs get bashed for fighting by the majority of the casuals. I mean, and that's pretty much what dictates a lot of the news and shit we see in these groups as far as opinions. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's just how I see it. I don't think he'd get credit for most of the guys in the top 10 that are ranked by Ring TV right now. Something would be said. Something would be said about the fight, regardless.
Well, you gotta look at how your credibility is damaged when you're talking about the major part of the fan base of boxing. I mean, when you let the casual see you duck one fighter 6-7 fucking times, of course I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying, when you let casual see you do that, well then your credibility is damaged unless you fight that fighter. So you're right. In that aspect, the casuals will be like, nigga, I don't give a fuck who you fight. If it's not Sergey Kovalev, I don't want to see it. And the reason for that is because he openly ducked this motherfucker multiple times. That's his fault again. He can't do that. It was clear after the Tony Bellew fight, that fight was getting made. Bro, I wasn't even telling niggas. I didn't know any of y'all guys at that time. But I was telling niggas, yo, Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalev, there's nothing stopping it. There's no reason why this fight shouldn't get made now. Adonis Stevenson clearly called him out after his Sergey Kovalev called out Adonis Stevenson after his last 2 fights. Adonis Stevenson would always dodge the question after his fight. The Tony Bellew fight was the last guy that he could actually fight that's actually credible. I was like, this fight's getting made. Next thing I know, he just fucking signed with Haymon and left HBO. Come on. You can't do that when the casuals are knowing this. They're looking at you. Now, it was a great move for him. It was. But you have to, if you want to be great, if it's not all about money and it's not all about fame, if you're trying to debunk my argument with Adonis Stevenson where it only being about money and fame with him, then why wouldn't you call for the Sergey Kovalev fight before you make the move to Al Haymon? Or if you do make the move to Al Haymon and say, hey, you know, I'll let you be my manager, but this fight has to be made. What can you do to get this fight made? He didn't do that, man. He just straight ducked him. And that's why the casuals don't want to see him against anybody else. That's his own doing, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you do agree with my point that he wouldn't get credit for most of the ring top 10 at 175, right? Like, they'll still be
yeah.
Okay. So
from the casual standpoint, absolutely, I agree.
And I think even from a boxing pure standpoint, you look at the top fucking 10, and you'll be like, nah, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it, and I was like,
now boxing purist, no, I disagree. Casual, I agree. Boxing purist, Alito Alvarez isn't even a top 10 175 pounder. He's top 10 in the WBC, and I want to see that fight. So no, from boxing purist standpoint, no, I highly disagree. I think he should fight a lot of the top 10 fighters that are ranked by Ring TV at 175. He actually should be fighting those guys. That's what the fuck we expect him to do as the WBC champion and the morally lineal champion. But he's not doing it.
All right, so that's going to lead us into our next topic. We got a fight finally announced, our announcement and venue for it. We thought Terence Crawford's next fight was going to be in Newark in the Prudential Center. It's been moved to NYC, and he'll be facing the off-induct Felix Diaz, for his, what is he, WBC and WBO?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, WBC and WBO. Junior welterweight titles. Man, actually a good fight, man. Actually excited for this one. Diaz has been looking for a shot against a big name and for a title. He's finally gotten it. Let me get you guys' thoughts. Did he bite off more than he can chew? Is he gonna get what he asked for? Like Terence Crawford said in his win. I forgot who he was fighting, but he's like, "You get what you came for."
That was London. That was London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my bad. That was that other Theory. What was his name? Theory.
Oh, okay.
Jerry John.
Yeah, Jerry John. That's it. Yeah, he looked out at the audience and said they was talking shit. Did you get what you was looking for? I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, so what do you guys think as far as the Felix going to have that same issue come May 20th or what? I'll let you guys take this one, and I'll sit back and play my little role as moderator here. What's your thoughts on this fight, y'all?
Go ahead, Bo.
I like the fight. I consider Felix Diaz, and I've always said this. Felix Diaz is probably a younger, more aggressive version of Gamboa. He has a lot of dog in him. He's going to come to fight. He should be undefeated because I thought he'd beat Peterson. The problem is I think that Terence Crawford has turned the fucking corner. I think because of the fact that Diaz is sort of similar to Yuriorkis Gamboa, which was Terence Crawford's toughest fight, and he like I said, he got that dog in him, and he's also athletic. I think he can cause Terence Crawford some problems. But I think Terence Crawford would be able to figure him out. I don't see this. I don't see him knocking him out. I see Terence Crawford maybe even winning a split decision. But it's a fight that I like because one of my biggest issues too is with Felix fighting at 140. Because he's really more of a 147 type of dude. So I don't know. I wonder how his body will handle fighting at that 140 because I think he fought Lamont Peterson even at 147.
At 143.
Like okay, 143. Right. So. Yeah, I think his strongest weight for him is 147, But I like the fact that Felix Diaz wants this fight. I like the fact he ain't scared to take this fight. And Terence Crawford better take it seriously. One of my issues with Terence is there's been a lot going on outside the ring with him that could affect him mentally as far as preparing himself for what's going on inside the ring.
I disagree. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's cool. But at the same time, I think Terence Crawford understands what he got in front of him. Like, yeah. I think Terence Crawford knows what he got in front of him. And, you know, like I said, this is a good fight. And if Terence Crawford actually wins this fight, and I mean, even if he grinds it out, and let's say he has another Victor Postal performance, or he grinds it out, man, you got to put this boy high on the pound for pound list after something like that, because Felix Diaz is nobody's walkover.
Yeah. The only thing I disagree with, and I is just it's not necessarily disagreeing with your point, because it's a valid point. I'm going to go ahead on the limb and say it's not going to distract him mentally, because Terence Crawford has shown us time and time again that mentally his ring IQ, his IQ for the sport, is amongst the upper echelon of the sport, meaning those guys with that kind of IQ, the Andre Wards, the Guillermo Rigondeaux, the retired Floyd Mayweathers, those guys with that kind of IQ, you got to mentally go into their head physically and drill some brain pieces out they don't for them to be mentally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter if they take layoff, if they're doing this outside the ring, if they're doing that outside the ring, if they're still actively training and they're still actively in the sport, their mental capacity, their mental makeup is not going to be flawed. It's not going to be damaged. It's not going to be degraded. So this is a man who's actively in the sport, regardless of the fact that he's had those legal issues outside the ring. So therefore, I don't expect him to be mentally flawed inside the ring. With that being said, though, Terence Crawford, there are some things that Felix Diaz can exploit. For example, when he decides to become sort of an I don't want to say a brawler. That's not what I want to say. When he's actually bringing the fight to his opponent, he can be touched. If he's boxing, using a lot of movement in the ring, that's where he's actually more flawless defensively. But when he's bringing the fight, he's being an inside type of fighter, he could be touched. And that's the type of fight that I think he's going to have to fight Felix Diaz with, because Diaz can move his motherfucking ass off. And he's an excellent boxer.
He's actually more of a slickster than that, you know.
Right.
He's exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He's an excellent boxer from the outside. So that's what Lamont Peterson had trouble with. He had to take the fight to Diaz, and it left him more vulnerable to getting hit, to getting top shots, to being outboxed from the outside. Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem that I see here with Terence Crawford. But the difference between Terence Crawford and Lamont Peterson, again, is that motherfucking IQ. Terence Crawford is about 10 times smarter than Lamont Peterson. Therefore, where Lamont Peterson is going to pretty much keep doing the same shit, getting tagged up and shit, using the same game plan, he may make minor adjustments. Terence Crawford is going to make extreme adjustments if plan A is not working for him. You see what I'm saying? And in that aspect, it's going to make Felix Diaz have to make adjustments if he can. Mind you, people, we've seen him take on some good fighters, Lamont Peterson, Sammy Vasquez, but again, he never really had to make adjustments. We haven't seen Felix Diaz be in the ring and be like, damn, that nigga got to make an adjustment. What can he do? Terence Crawford is going to be the guy to show whether or not Felix Diaz has the ability to make adjustments. So this is a motherfucking intriguing ass fight, fam. I can't wait to see it. You know what I'm saying? If Felix Diaz beats Terence Crawford instantly, and I know my lady's going to be like, what? No, hell no. Instantly in the top 10, pound for pound, fam. Because this is a guy.
Oh, I agree with that.
I know. I wasn't talking about y'all. I know y'all's capacity for boxing. A lot of other motherfuckers, though, they're going to be like, oh, hell no. But you got to understand how good Terence Crawford is. We're talking about a guy that a lot of people have at number 1 pound for pound right now, over Andre Ward. That's how good this guy is. If Felix Diaz goes in there, a guy coming pretty much out of nowhere, right? I mean, he beat Sammy Vasquez, but he lost to Lamont Peterson. He's coming pretty much out of nowhere, right? he doesn't really have a stable division. Nigga goes from 147 to 140, back to 147, in between there at 143. He doesn't have a stable division. And he beats one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport, instantly top 10, fam. Instantly.
And people fail to realize Diaz has a pretty strong boxing pedigree himself, being he was an Olympic gold medalist from the Dominican Republic, which would be my second home probably in the future, but that's for other purposes.
So you know what though? I'm glad you stupid. I'm glad you said that, because this, and I say to people all the time, put this in this perspective. Think of how hard and how good Feliz Diaz has to be. He won a gold medal out of the Dominican Republic.
Exactly. At that division too. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
Think about that. Dominican Republic is never known for boxing, known for what? Baseball. So how good a motherfucker got to be to come out of a spot where competition probably ain't that stiff and win a fucking gold medal?
Nigga, before Felix Diaz, their best boxer was fucking Argentina Mendez, who got knocked the fuck out by Robert Easter Jr. You know what I'm saying? So you're fucking right. You're right about it. I think the best thing that came out of Dominican Republic is fucking Gerald Ryder, that rapper. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else come out of the DR. Oh, shit.
I mean, so I definitely think I like this fight for Crawford. I mean, for him to take this fight when nobody else has wanted to give Diaz a shot like this between 140 and 147, it definitely speaks to Terence Crawford's merit, and I mean, this is what he wants.
Well, hold on now. Remember HBO. Remember HBO said that Tavon
for that bullshit.
Yeah. HBO said that Tavon wasn't a qualified opponent, remember?
Oh, yeah, okay. But, I kind of wanted to touch on 2K's point about Diaz not necessarily facing any adversity. He did fight Adrian Granados, and that was probably his toughest fight. But Granados gives everybody a fucking hard time in the ring. That's just his way. But I actually think I see Terence Crawford being going out to be on the offensive and be more of a stalker and prey. You know, the way he's walked down guys like Lundy and Thomas. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing from him in this fight. And we'll see if Diaz will be able to outslick him and catch him off guard like 2K was saying. I'm definitely intrigued by this matchup, and this one I'm excited for. So big up on Terence Crawford for accepting this fight. A very dangerous opponent, man. Diaz should not be slept on. I mean, this dude could fight. You know what I'm saying? I've already gone on record saying I think he wins it, but I'm always with underdogs too. So that's what it is.
Damn, you got Diaz winning?
Yeah, I think he's gonna eke out a decision.
Woo! Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait for the breakdown.
I see being some sweepy type. We gonna see some sweepy type skills from Diaz in this fight.
Okay. All
right. Going into our next topic, man. It looks like Gary Russell's fight with Oscar Escandon for his WBC featherweight title has finally found a new date. It's looking like they're going to do a split venue doubleheader with the Kell Brook versus Errol Spence fight on Showtime on May 27th. It's actually a good look. I like the split venue, and it's two fights I'm actually looking for. Well, two fighters I like. So I'm happy about it, considering what they had going before. Let me get you guys' thoughts on this double date they got going with Showtime. I'll start off with 2K.
It's a good thing. I like the actual fight with Russell and Camden. I think a lot of people, let me put it this way, I think a lot of people are going to look over this fight because Oscar Scandon is not somebody, he's not one of the bigger guys at featherweight. He's already got 2 L's. I think one of them was to get him a Rigondeaux's next opponent, which is Moises Flores. And he lost something by like split decision or something like that, right?
Yeah.
No, it was one of the close decision losses, but so a lot of cats are not gonna really know who Escandon is, but if you know Gary Russell, the problem with Gary Russell is that he gets complacent. You know what I'm saying? He gets complacent with the skill set, and I think that's the whole reason why he lost to Lomachenko the way he did. Now, that fight was only a majority decision loss, but everybody knows he lost by unanimous. You know what I'm saying? It should have been unanimous. And when I say he gets complacent with his skills, I mean he's got a team of motherfuckers behind him that are like, bro, you fast as fuck. Niggas can't fuck with your combinations. You know what I'm saying? Look at your footwork, dog. Look, dog. You know, he got cats in his camp that actively give him blowjobs, you know, every second of the day. So with that said, when he gets in the ring, you know, he's already feeling himself. And I think he can actually feel this way against Escandon. Now, he has turned over a new leaf after beating up Johnny Gonzalez and taking the belt. But at the same time, he's shown recently that boxing is like second priority to him. I think he's been working on his brother's game more than he's actually been working on himself.
I think he actually is more into being a training than he is fighting right now too. I agree with that. Exactly. So with that said, you know that, and Gary Russell is not like a Terence Crawford, a Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward to get him a ring down. He doesn't have that IQ to where this motherfucker could take a break from doing the physical parts of boxing, come back and still be sharp. No, he's not that type of dude. He's actually not that smart, in my opinion. He's just very athletic. So with that said, if he's not in tip-top shape for an Oscar Escandon, man, we could see that belt changing hands. But I like the double date. It just adds to more positive for the sport, man, and that's gonna be something that I can't wait to see. Bo, let me get your thoughts, man.
Well, really not that much you can even add on to what 2K said. 2K said the only thing I disagree with when he said about Russell not being very smart. The biggest problem with Gary Russell, and they're not giving Gary Russell a blowjob. They passed that a long time ago. They much worse. They have an asshole. But the biggest problem with Gary Russell is Gary Russell relies. He's one of those fighters that relies on advice from his corner. Like, right. Just like he said, like, take the Lomachenko fight. At no point did he try to implement something different himself. He's going off what the corner said. Hey, man, let your hands go. Throw more combinations. Hey, man, move to the left. So he's one of those fighters that relies heavily off of his corner. If his corner is not giving him the right shit, then Gary Russell pretty much is going to follow that and don't know what to do. And that's epically what's going to be Gary Russell's downfall when he fights a very smart IQ fighter, because they're going to know how to make it on the fly the way he doesn't. I like what Showtime is doing, period, but what they're doing with boxing. Like, they've always made boxing not their main priority, but they gave it the attention it deserves. But all this does now is the doubleheader is, okay, you'll watch Kell Brooks and then Spence, then you'll come back and you'll watch this. And what they're doing, in a sense, is they're making a tone where they're setting where, hey, we're going to put on fights, we're going to put on good commentary that ain't going to be biased, that's going to educate you. When you're talking about Paulie Malignaggi and Al Bernstein, is going to educate you on what you see, what you're looking at, that way to get you better to understand what boxing is and where we're going from here. And that's the reason why right now Showtime is kicking HBO's ass. Yeah. So I like what they're doing. I like the idea. You know, it gives you a chance, like I said, to watch the main fight that everybody want to see, even though it's at a different time frame. But, hey, check it out. You can watch it. We'll replay it on one of our sister networks, and then you can come back later on tonight. You can watch Gary Russell. So it's a great idea. I agree with 2K in this aspect. If the game plan ain't working for Gary Russell and he hasn't learned to make an adjustment, which I don't want to say he don't know how. I just think he just relies so much on his corner that he don't try to do it himself. He thinks they didn't know all to be all. That we could possibly see a title change hands.
Well, you guys know I'm a huge Gary Russell Jr. fan, so I don't like the first that you guys are putting out there about this possible title.
Here comes the bias.
I don't like none of that shit at all.
Well, shit, I'm surprised your ass didn't hit the mute button, motherfucker.
I mean,
I know, right?
I can only do that to the casuals. I mean, I got more respect for y'all than that.
You a goddamn liar. You muted me.
Nah, man. I'm just, you know what? I'm just happy that Gary Russell's fighting, man. Activity has been one of the biggest issues with him. He's had his share of injuries with his hands and other elements that post-fight. Escandon actually had the latest injury that postponed to this. Was, believe it or not, was supposed to happen bugging post, but I want to say 10 months ago, really. So I'm just happy Gary Russell's back in the ring, man. But it's definitely one of those things where, you know, even as a big fan of his, I question early into the sport. Like, I think he's had, you know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and those are most dangerous guys. I mean, that are fighting. Well, I won't say dangerous. It's dangerous for those kind of guys to be fighting when you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I mean, it's best to be out of it, especially with a sport like boxing. If you're not fully focused, you could get hurt in there, man. So, I mean, I just want to see what he says. He has about 3 or 4 fights he really wants to take. So we'll see if this sets those up or not. That's kind of more what I'm looking at this fight for, just to see how he looks coming off the long layoff. But yeah, I just want to see if he has some kind of love or passion for it, if it even looks like that. And Escandon would definitely bring that out in you in a fight. You know, he's got a lot of dog in him as well, like Bo likes to say. He's a tough guy. So it'll definitely bring the fight to Gary. Gary definitely needs to be on his toes. But I like what I've seen from him since pretty much the Gonzalez fight, or since he lost to Lomachenko. He's sitting down on his punches now, which is something he didn't do earlier in his career, where he threw a lot of those pity-pat fast combinations. He's actually sitting down on punches now and getting motherfuckers out of there. So, I mean, we'll definitely see what's up. Next, we got some big news, man. This is actually pretty gigantic when you think about it. And I'm going to let Bo speak on this one first with his biased ass. Luis Ortiz signed with Al Haymon. And he is scheduled to fight on the undercard of Andre Berto and Sean Porter on April 22nd against Derrick Rossy.
Great move.
Bo is in contact with a lot of the top guys out of Miami, you know, from the Cuban community. Is there any more details you might be able to give us as far as about this signing with Al Haymon? It caught a lot of us by surprise, considering he's been working with Matchroom for his past couple bouts.
Well, the thing with the Matchroom thing was they was on Eddie Hearns had him on a fight-by-fight basis. So that was one thing. Another thing is that if they can't get Deontay Wilder, they was definitely gonna invoke their right to fight the WBA mandatory winner. And one more thing is coming from his manager. This is one thing that intrigued the manager was Al Haymon just had the fighters to keep Luis Ortiz busy. Now, let me give my take on this. I said this when Eddie Hearns did it. I'm gonna say it when Al Haymon do it. Here, the thing about this panel and us on this panel, if we see one motherfucker do the same thing other motherfucker do, we gonna call it. Al Haymon is just trying to buy time to keep the big fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua going, to see what happened with Joshua and Klitschko. Okay, all he doing is he's signing Luis Ortiz, keep him on standby, have Joshua and Wilder fight. Then after that, then he'll look toward Luis Ortiz, or maybe even push Luis Ortiz towards Joseph Parker, which I don't think Bob Arum is going to lose the heavyweight title there. But it's a great position to be in for Luis. One of the biggest things I heard, and that was coming when I was talking to my man Vasyl Crawford, is it's a great position for Luis Ortiz because he's ranked very high with the WBC. He has that WBA mandatory. So imagine if he wins. Let's say he fights, or he don't have to fight. Let's say Joshua wins and Joshua decides, hey, I got a mandatory with the IBF to fight Kubrat Pulev. and he fights Pulov, and he loses the WBA. Now, Al Haymon has 2 champions in his stable, and he can make a mega fight, title versus title, between Wilder and Luis Ortiz. So they like the fact that they can stay busy. They can fight guys like Amir Mansour, Dominic Brazzelli, stay busy, stay paid, okay, and maybe get a WBA shot or a WBC shot guaranteed to them somewhere down the line. But again, I still feel Al Haymon signed this motherfucker because he heard him talking, he heard him barking, he heard him building some momentum. They know this motherfucker a threat, so you sign him. You keep him busy, you keep him paid, and you keep him on the back burner to make your big fight. And if that don't happen, then you can make a big fight between these 2 cats right here. Like if you can't get the Anthony Joshua, you make a big fight between Wilder and Luis Ortiz, because that's what everybody want to see anyway. So all around, it's a good move for Luis Ortiz, especially you talking about staying busy, getting paid, and still being in line for maybe 2 possible title shots. So, you know.
All right, GK, your thoughts on the signing with the PBC brand and how it impact Ortiz's career? Is this a good thing for him, or do you have a...
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great thing. I think he should have did this earlier, to be honest with you. If he's actually trying to be somebody in the heavyweight division, he wants to make some noise. He doesn't want to get ignored for being the number 1 ranked fighter in a given sanctioning body. He doesn't want to be ignored to where he should be the number 1 ranked fighter in a sanctioning body, but he's number 2 behind somebody who ain't done shit. Then he should have signed with Al Haymon earlier, because he would have been able to get a lot of the different fights that other managers / promoters won't be willing to put him into. Also, he'll be a lot more active. He has opportunities to be a lot more active anyway. So I think it's a great move, and I agree with everything Bo said with them trying to save the materialization of the Deontay Wilder-Anthony Joshua fight. I don't know, though, man. I think there's a possibility that Luis Ortiz, let me put it this way, if anybody could put a wrench in any plans that you have for 2 top heavyweights to clash, Luis Ortiz will be that guy. And we'll see, man. We'll see what goes for him. You know, he's going to fight the guy that Bermain Stavern beat, the only guy that Bermain Stavern has fought since losing to Deontay Wilder like 2 or 3 years ago. But evidently, Derrick Rossy can get you a number 1 ranked mandatory spot on the WBC ranking. So we'll see if Luis Ortiz. We'll see if Luis Ortiz, when he knocks out Derrick Rossy, will be able to be number 1 ranked by WBC at this point in time. They did the same shit for Bermain Stavern. I expect him to do it for Luis Ortiz.
All right, so let's take this in another direction. Considering Ortiz's last 2 performances while he was temporarily with Matchroom, he didn't necessarily get the highest praise for the performances or, you know, what happened in the fights. What do you guys think of that as far as this heading into this fight against Derrick Rossy? Are we seeing any signs of slowing down in Ortiz based off of those 2 fights, or is he still the threat that a lot of us think he is at heavyweight?
Well,
a lot of people. Go ahead, Bo. You got it, dog.
Yeah, nigga, respect your fucking elders. But yeah, see the thing.
You know,
hey, wait a minute. Hold on.
A nigga trying to be cordial. A nigga trying to be cordial, and that's what you get. You gotta fly out a nigga's this shit and whoop their motherfucking ass for being cordial.
No, you know what? I've been saving that. I've been saving that for a long time. Remember when we was talking about Coleman, and I said, "Hey, let me speak for a second." He said, "No, shut up, nigga." I've been saving that for a long time. I've been saying that for a long time, motherfucker.
Goddamn.
But what I was going to say is, when you really think about it, the fights he had in match wasn't fights where he could look good. He fought Malik Scott. Malik Scott wasn't trying to fight. Then he fought David Allen, you know, guy who technically fallen in every aspect that there was, so he couldn't look good against him. Rossy is a veteran. He's a solid veteran, but he's also a fighter who's going to be aggressive. He's going to come forward, so he's going to be there for Luis Ortiz to show you what's in his bag of tricks to look good. And that's the perfect kind of fight for him. That's why I say, like, if he fights guys like Dominique Breazeale and Amir Mansour, those are dudes where, because of their flaws and fighting ability, he can look good against them. That's why, that's why I think at the end of the day, they looked at it and was like, man, we're not getting fights to make us look good, because the 2 fights he had on the Matchbox, everybody was like, man, this dude is, is old, or, I'm not going to touch on that. But, y'all not going to get me on here. Y'all not going to get me on here with that. But it was, it was people just, they was questioning his skill level and ability. But the guys he was in there against were not, fights where you can look good against them. So at least in the aspect of, like I said, Breazeale, Mansour, who else they got? Big Baby Miller, and even this dude he fighting. The way they fight, their style, he can show you what's in his bag of tricks and look good against them. So that's something I think people have to look at also.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Bo. You can't really base 2 fights against guys that weren't really trying to be too active in there. You can't base whether or not he's slowing down off those 2 fights. But the thing is, it shouldn't fucking matter anyway. This is a guy that's actually trying to fight people. So put him in a ring with somebody then. Then we can make that assessment. If he goes in there and fights, Jarrell Miller and gets knocked the fuck out, then hey, well shit, maybe he was slowing down. You know what I'm saying? If he beats him, well then we got our answer. He wasn't slowing down. You see what I'm saying? So if it was a guy that was actually not trying to make fights and we were trying to make an assessment on whether or not he's slowing down, but we couldn't do it because he's not trying to fight high-level contenders, then, yeah, this will be something that we should explore. Derrick, I disagree with one thing Bo said. Like I said, Derrick Rossy is a tough veteran. The nigga's 3-7 in his last 10 fights. You know what I'm saying? The nigga ain't too tough. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't fight nobody in those 3 wins. He did beat a dude that was 16-0, but the heavyweights, there's a lot of heavyweights out there that are undefeated, you know what I'm saying, that are extremely garbage. And when they step up one minute level, they get knocked the fuck out or they get beaten badly. And we just seen that with, I'm going to fuck his name up. Uzagano, the guy that just got knocked out by Dominique Breazeale. You know what I'm saying? We just seen that with him. Right. So I mean, him beating that guy don't really mean shit. But when he's actually fought straight, contenders, the actual guys that are somebody in the division, he got thoroughly outclassed. So I expect him to get thoroughly outclassed in this fight. And like I said, it'll put Luis Ortiz somewhere where possibly, man, we could get him in the ring with some of these Jarrell Millers, Andy Ruiz's, Mike Pettis, Brian, or he already beat Brian Jennings. Just somebody, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else. So we'll see.
All right, let you guys know he's already the next in line to fight the winner of Joshua Klitschko. Or he played out the Deontay Wilder situation, and it looks like he'll be actually getting a rematch with Stavern, from what a lot of inside sources have been saying. So, I mean, he'd have to wait on the Wilder fight, but it looks like the WBA would be an immediate thing for him. So we'll see if he pulls that trigger. I don't know. You never know what's going on with these damn Cubans, man. I mean,
that's fucked up.
All I'm saying is y'all almost got me today. Y'all almost got me today. That's all I'm going to say.
So we just going to have to wait out that situation, man, to see what happens. But I'm actually happy about the signing. He actually should have did this before doing the bullshit with Golden Boy. I had no idea why he ever signed with Golden Boy in the first place, probably because of the Latin appeal. But, I mean, this is actually something he should have did originally. So, like 2K, I agree with him on that. Let's go into our next topic, which is one that kind of caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting this. Mikkel Kessler coming out of retirement to rejoin the 168 ranks and try and capture super middleweight crowns. He seems to think he could beat James DeGale even at, what, he's 36 or 38. Let me see. I think he's 38. Yeah, he's 38 years old now. He thinks he could beat a guy like a James DeGale at this stage after being out of the ring 3-4 years. I'll go ahead and let 2K take this one first. What's your thoughts about him coming out of retirement, man?
Yeah, this is actually, I want to commend you on this actual topic, man, because this is something that I didn't even know about. Not too much shit actually passes me by in boxing. So when I read this on the topic, I was like, God damn, really? I'm like, coming back? If he, to basically respond to what he said, if he comes back as the Mikkel Kessler that went out, I think he has a good chance against James DeGale. Now, I don't want to be a guy to say, oh, you're too old to do something. Hell, I still do shit at my age that niggas would say, man, you was too old if I just told you, and then you see me be like, damn, nigga, you really that old and you still do that? So I can't say that he can't do what he wants to do at age 38. But I will say this. There is a high possibility that, again, as I stated earlier about Terence Crawford and his IQ, if you are not actively in the sport when you're not fighting or you're not, you're semi-retired, so to speak, if you're not actively in the sport, then you're going to have a hard time adjusting when you just come back into the sport from a long layoff. Again, Mikkel Kessler is another guy, just as I stated about Gary Russell earlier. He's not a very smart guy. He's okay in the IQ department, but he's not the upper echelon type of guys where I say they can be away from the ring and come back and still win titles, within 2 or 3 fights. Mikkel Kessler can't do that. So if he's active, though, if he's in this retirement, I can't remember, how long has he been retired, Twan?
About 4 years. Yeah.
And that's exactly the time I was thinking, too. I just didn't want to get it wrong. So within 4 years, if he's just been sitting on the couch eating potato chips and shit, and shout out to my man Kelly Pavlik, he admitted that's what the fuck he be doing now. He said he got a gut. Nigga weighs over 230 pounds. When we interviewed him on my channel, that's what he told us. So if he's not doing the Kelly Pavlik, if he's actually in the ring, training and shit, these entire 4 years, he had already contemplated a comeback. He just needed to take some time off to deal with his, I guess some inner demons or whatever he was dealing with, whatever it was, but he was still active in the process, then he has opportunity. I give him opportunity in 2 fights. If not, no, he would get it as drugs by James DeGale. And I know, Twine, you're not big on James DeGale. You're more big on assistance than you are his boxing ability. But I think an old-ass Mikkel Kessler who's just trying to walk his ass back into the ring, after 4 years, even after he gets like 2 or 3 fights in, he would still get drugged by James DeGale. So him still training right now is very key. I'm actually going to go in and do some research on his story and see if I can actually talk with him to see if he's actually been training these 4 years, because that shit is key to me.
And Kessler was actually a pretty big guy at 168 before, so 4 years away from having to get back down to 168. That's at 38 years of age. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how that pans out for him. Bo, you got anything you want to add on?
The fact that as soon as he announced he wanted to come back, for my reason, Carl Front started getting the itch a little bit more to come back also. Remember? I don't know if you saw that Carl Front made a statement. Kessler coming back.
Trilogy.
Coming back.
Trilogy. But he's not. So, he hasn't came out officially yet. He just said he has interest after seeing Kessler do it.
Right. But to 2K's point, and I'm gonna make this extremely short because he hit a lot of points. So talkative alpha male ass nigga. But to 2K's point, he's absolutely right. His training is what's gonna be very important because here's the reality is you can still work out at 36, and we tell people all the time, this is why we say you don't play boxing. You can walk down the street with a basketball, pick up 5 motherfuckers, go to a court. You can walk down the block with a football, pick up 12 motherfuckers, go to the field. You ain't going to walk down the block with no boxing glove and find another motherfucker who don't go to the gym like you and fucking go to the gym and fight you. Reason being is because there's a difference between you working out and staying in shape and training camp. So it's going to be important. How does his body respond to training camp? That's what's going to be important at 36. He might have been working out, staying in shape and all that, but an actual training camp is what we're going to see. How is his body going to respond to actual training camp? That's what's important, and that's the part I agree wholeheartedly with 2K on. That's something we all have to take into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely interested in seeing, his first couple of fights. I don't think we will see him at a title contention. I don't think it'll happen, but, we've seen other guys do it at older states, B-Hop being one in recent years. So you can't put it past anybody, but, B-Hop was a guy that stayed in the gym religiously. And like you guys mentioned, if he's been sitting around and not training, it's definitely going to be a more arduous task for him to get back in there, especially on a championship caliber. I would like to see a trilogy between him and Kessler, though. Him and Carl Frock. That would be interesting to see, if he decided to come out for a fight like that, because, they were 1-1. So to have them split that trilogy, I'd be interested in something like that, even if he didn't get back to championship caliber level. So we'll be paying attention.
Bernard saying unmute him, man.
Well, I was gonna say he want to get on, but don't unmute his ass. Don't unmute him. Leave that nigga on mute.
Two goddamn topics. This nigga out is goddamn. Who the fuck he think he is, nigga? Man.
Leave that motherfucker on mute.
Motherfucker, two. Actually, one goddamn topic while you bullshitting.
Oh, make no damn sense, man.
Wow. The casual. Definitely something the casual would do. Yeah, man. Let me go into this topic. We got, looks like Yuriorkis Gamboa is making good on his promise to stay active since signing with Golden Boy. It's looking like he'll be fighting Jayson Velez. Cinco de Mayo weekend. It's in play for the same weekend as the Canelo Chavez card. Let me get you guys' thoughts on this fight as far as Jayson Velez actually wasn't one of the best guys at 130, but he held the title. He's a quality opponent. It's definitely probably the biggest name Crawford has fought since Gamboa's fought since Terence Crawford. So take it for what it is, man. But let me get you guys' thoughts on this fight.
Go ahead.
The Cubano Loco.
Yeah. First, man, did you unmute my partner?
The hell no. What the hell are you gonna say about one goddamn topic?
Man, unmute my partner, man. I can't tolerate.
For one goddamn topic, are you serious?
Yeah, unmute him, man. Let that man get his say, man.
Oh, wow. Fucked up. That's fucked up.
What's good with you, nigga? Oh, nigga, coming. I know what the fuck you was doing. I know what he was doing already.
No.
I know what the hell this nigga was doing.
I'm not going to say anything. I want to speak on the Kessler and Frost thing first. But past that, I wanted to say,
say what you got to say, Kevin.
This is what I wanted to say, 2K the turd. Look. Mikkel Kessler doesn't know whether he's going to 168 or 175. And second off, he has been consistently training for the past 3 to 4 years that he's been off. So he has. I read
the casual no more. The casual no more than us, huh?
I read the article on BoxingScene.com. I
I ain't even looked at boxing scene. I ain't looked at the boxing scene shit.
I want to see some footage, and I want to hear some goddamn testimonies that this nigga's been in the ring for 4 years. Fuck an article. Anybody can write that. What do you know? What testimony at?
Okay, get your over-analytical ass out of here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck all that bullshit.
So now that we got him to chime in on that, let's get his little IBO shout out and WrestleMania shout out for the night.
No, I'm not even doing no IBO shout. Now, as for Gamboa, I'm glad. Let's speak on Gamboa. I'm glad he's going to be on the undercard of Canelo and Chavez Jr. That's a good look. That's more exposure for him. And as long as he keeps getting the W's, he keeps consistent, hopefully he gets a title shot. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying an IBO title shot. Think right.
All right. Go ahead.
Shout out to my fans.
Oh, this motherfucker. Yeah, Malachi.
Hold on. Correction.
Don't call for this shit.
It's Malacasual.
Yo, too much, man.
Man, Dougie. When I spoke to a couple cats around the circle who was up there with him in camp, that was the one thing they said was that based on his performance and how he looked in this fight and everything, how it was going for him, that Oscar them was going to try to put, a little bit of the machine behind him to keep him busy. So that does look like that's happening for him, and it's good. Yuriorkis Gamboa still seems to have that fire. Now, how much is left for how long is questionable. And we saw that on display in his fight in the gym and in his fight in the ring.
Oh, you gonna miss that? He admitted it.
Oh, man.
So, but my only concern with Gamboa is my biggest fear for him is because Oscar's already, I got a feeling, and this is me, I just feel like Oscar is probably going to try to make that fight between a lot of in-house fights with Gamboa with some of his own guys like Jorge Velez and a couple of his other guys. So that's my biggest fear is I wonder if he's going to try to use Gamboa as a gatekeeper for some of his guys going through, or just make a lot of in-house fights. But outside of that, I like the fact he is staying busy, because that's the only way your skill set stays sharp. Gamboa, although he's a Cuban fighter, and I know I'm gonna catch a lot of shit from my people, but Gamboa, the one thing that Terence Crawford fight showed me is Gamboa relies heavily off his athleticism and his ability. He's not exactly what you would call a high ring IQ Cuban fighter. He's not like a Guillermo Rigo. He's not a Guillermo Rigo fighter. And that's the issue. That's my only concern with Gamboa going into some of these fights if they start putting him in championship level fights is he has enough skill and probably enough ring wisdom to compete with some of these dudes. But when he gets in there with like a Terence Crawford or Vasyl Lomachenko, even Jorge Antonio, that ring IQ is what's going to be the biggest knock for him.
Definitely good point right there, bro. You heard any thoughts on Gamboa's fight against Velez? I know you thought Velez was trash from Jump Street, even when he was a title holder.
I agree. I'm with you.
As far as the caliber of what we've seen Gamboa in there since his fight against Crawford, I mean, this actually is probably the biggest known fighter he's fought since then. So I think it's a nice step up for him, especially to stay more active. I like this fight, even though Velez is a fucking head case. But let me get your thoughts, TK.
Yeah, Jayson Velez, I'm with you on that. I agree with you. He's trash. I agree with Bill on what he said about putting Yuriorkis against high-level fighters. But this is the thing, though. Jayson Velez is not high level. You know what I'm saying? And at one point he was a title holder. I thought he lost to Vision Gradovic in 2014. That fight was a draw. That should have been his first loss of his career. And other than that, you know, he fought, what's his name? My favorite Mexican fighter of all time, Salvador Sanchez's nephew, who was ironically named after him. You know what I'm saying? He fought that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, you know, his resume has been meek at best. Jojo Diaz spanked his motherfucking ass last year. I think he's 1-4, I believe, or 1-5 in his last 6 fights, or 1-4 in his last 5. So I mean, this is a good fight for Gamboa. Gamboa is still high level in my opinion. He did show some ring rust against Rene Alvarado in his last fight, last month. But I still think he's high level. I disagree with Bo a little bit in assessing Yuriorkis Gamboa's IQ level. I agree 100% that he is not a Guillermo Rigondeaux, but he is smarter than the average fighter. He's not by any means just an average guy with ring IQ. I think he is pretty smart, but he does rely on his athleticism. I do agree with that point, and that's what actually gets him knocked down in fights and shit, because he may be relying too much on his athleticism, and his opponent will deliver a well-placed point, well-placed punch, and catch him off balance. But we've also seen that against Guillermo Rigondeaux as well. So, like I said, as we did see ring rust against Rene Alvarado. I still think he's high level. I think he walked right through Jayson Velez. I don't see him becoming a gatekeeper for anybody at Golden Boy, because Golden Boy really ain't got nobody.
Ain't got
you know what I'm saying? They ain't got nobody.
Yeah, he's gonna put JoJo in there with him. I know that for damn sure.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's the only person that he could actually put him in there with, for us to say, well, you know, it could be a tune-up, but it really wouldn't be a tune-up because Yuriorkis is still high level, and JoJo's at 126 any fucking way. Gamboa's fighting at 130, so JoJo would have to move up. So, yeah, there's really nobody in his stable that we could say, well, he'd be a gatekeeper for them. So I think actually he's probably one of their highest level fighters. I mean, you got Canelo, you got Roman Gonzalez, and then you got a motherfucker that's been inactive for 3 years and shit, Yuriorkis Gamboa right behind there. So that's pretty much out their stable. So with that said, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to build a fight to possibly get Gamboa in there with Vasyl Lomachenko if he's willing to do the business dealings with Top Rank. That's what I really believe that they're trying to make happen. But I don't know, man. I really believe Gamboa's there's a lot that they could do with him if they could just keep his fucking ass active. There's a lot that they could do with him, man.
Definitely agreed. Man, I like this just as a good stay busy fight, and it would actually be for a minor version of the WC belt titles, one of the regional belts, that somehow Velez happened to get a shot for after losing 3 fights in a row, even to a 6-0 fighter. I don't fucking know what the hell's going on with boxing rankings anymore. Nor am I going to try and figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll just see how it pans out, man. I definitely think Yuriorkis still has a lot left in him. It's just a matter of him staying active. And I think he has a good enough machine behind him now in Golden Boy to where he could actually do that. I mean, this is his most stable situation since he was on Top Rank. So I definitely look forward to seeing him climb that ladder, even though he's, 34 now, Bo?
43.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
that. He probably is. Fucking, you know them goddamn keeping records. You know that.
He's documented. Yeah, he's documented at 35, but the nigga probably 48. I think 48.
You know that them keeping records ain't the most accurate.
Y'all motherfuckers trying to get my pass revoked, I see. That's the shit you niggas on. You niggas trying to get my pass revoked. That's what the fuck you niggas on.
That's going to lead us to our U.O.E.N.O segment of the night before we wrap it up. On this day in 2005, the great Louis Collazo
Damn. You have to talk like that, bro. That's fucked up, man. Oh, wow, man.
Nah, big up to Louis, though. He coming off a big win against Sammy Vasquez, but he had probably his biggest win in 2005 when he won the WBA Welterweight title against Jose Antonio Rivera. So big up, Louis. Yeah. We want to handle the final blow this week, man. I put Bo up there just because he always can win something. I didn't really have nothing I wanted to talk about specifically this week in boxing. It's been kind of a lackluster week. Anything you can put together for the final blow?
Oh, hell yeah. What a difference a year makes. And what I mean by that is there's a certain thing that's going on throughout mainstream media, which their refusal to accept certain things, their refusal to own up to certain things. But the beautiful thing about boxing is you don't have to, because boxing is going to hand you that L whether you want it or not. And what I'm referring to is a little topic that whenever it comes to numbers, it's always a thing when it's PBC. Whenever it comes to outcomes and ticket sales and audience, it's always a thing when it's PBC. But oh, what a tangle where we weave when you have to flip that over. And you got to look at Golden Boy give you a fight on ESPN2 that only generates 249K motherfuckers that watched it. So you went from motherfuckers, a million motherfuckers watching it to 249. And before anybody say to me, well, they putting on their prospects, this the same shit PBC was doing. When y'all shitted on it, talking about some, oh, they're going to ruin boxing on ESPN. Well, if you think they ruining boxing on ESPN from PBC, the fuck do you think 249K going to do on ESPN? Okay? And here's another little snippet that I want to throw out there. 2017 has already shown us that no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you want to, no matter how hard you close your eyes and pray and pretend, you can't take away from the fact that the motherfuckers who you talk shit about, the motherfuckers who you don't like, have been laying down the pathway to show you why they are who they are. And what I'm referring to is, again, we talking numbers. Gennady Golovkin did 173. All right? That's 173. That's still short of 200. Whether you like Canelo Alvarez or you don't like Canelo Alvarez, he's been able to do more because of the position that he's been put in to be more successful. So for all of you all who are behind Gennady Golovkin and all up his ass and all of that shit, well, how come y'all ain't buying his fucking pay-per-views? If you're going to appeal to the casuals, be successful at appealing to the fucking casuals. If you're going to appeal to that market, be successful at appealing to that market. If you're going to say something is shit and we don't like it, well, put something in this place that's going to do better. Don't put shit in the place that's going to do worse. Don't go after a market that you think is there. Why? Because they don't, they talk a lot and they fanboy a lot on the fucking internet, which does not generate dollars when it comes to pay-per-view as we see it now. So what you want, your Dan Raphaels, your Steve Kims, your motherfuckers that always want to take these shots, you have to actually stop sending the troops out and get your ass on the ground, do your work, or listen to shows like this, Guard Your Grill Boxing, God the Boxing Talk, 78 Sports, Blood Boxing. Listen to us because we're telling you shit that's going to happen, and it's been going the way we thought it's been going to happen. Oscar De La Hoya desperately needed something to show all his 155 fighters that we don't know about because we're too busy paying Canelo Alvarez. He had to go to ESPN 2, not the main one, but the second one. And that only happened. Why? Because Al Haymon threw a lawsuit, and I'm going to put that in there. See, we don't believe in giving y'all half facts to the argument. Through a lawsuit, Al Haymon had to give up exclusive rights. And as soon as he did that, Golden Boy ran their ass over there like a nigga chasing an ex-girlfriend of his best friend and signed up with ESPN to put their fights on. And what did you get? In life, what do they say? You're always supposed to upgrade yourself. If you leave a motherfucker pulling you down, then you go to a motherfucker that's going to bring you up. When a woman leave a man because he ain't shit, she try not to go to another not shit man. The same thing with a man. Well, they ran the ESPN. ESPN, listening to Derrick Rossy and all them other negative writers who don't do their research, who hope and pray, signed Oscar up, and your first fight did $250K. It did so bad they didn't even write an article about the shit. Okay, it did so bad I didn't see nobody. I can tell you about the fight. People on this panel, we can tell you about the fight when we watch them. Just like the Orozco fight, we can tell you about that fight. We watched it. I saw nothing on all you so-called casual fan market, YouTube, motherfucking 2015 goddamn Wikipedia searching ass motherfuckers say shit about none of them Golden Boy cards. So you're not boxing fans, okay? You're not for the sport. You're for one fighter, and that's the motherfucker that you know. You're for one promoter. That's the motherfucker you know. But boxing is a global sport, and the reason why it's doing better in the UK, Japan, and every fucking where else is because they know how to market their people, their promoters, regardless of stature, status, or whatever. They do a better job at it. Get with the program, motherfuckers, or guess what? Continuously take this motherfucking L, and it's a capital L, up your ass, out your breath.
With no Vaseline.
That's that old man cursing when they get mad. This nigga said, up your
while
ass.
I'm reading the newspaper. After my morning cup of coffee.
What the hell is up your ass and out your breath? That nigga stepping his age on that one.
Now 2K, this is what it was. It loses its meaning in translation. You know, Bo be speaking that Spanish shit all the time. It loses meaning in translation. Can one of y'all verify this will be or not? Is it true that Doug Fisher and Steve Kim have a pre-fight show on ESPN now when they do their Golden Boy cards? I'm not sure if that's true or not. I thought I saw something about that in one of the groups.
I haven't heard nothing about it, man, to be honest with you.
Okay, cool. I'm hoping that's not true because ESPN has no idea that they have really sold themselves to the devil if they got them motherfuckers doing anything on ESPN. Doug Fisher and fucking Steve Kim. Yes. Both Ring Magazine representatives. The bias shit. But with that said, man, I guess that's going to conclude our show for this week. Signing out for my cohorts on this panel. For Big Cool who couldn't be here tonight, we going to hold you down. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we got you on next week. We got Bo and Bernard from the Truth and Facts About Boxing Talk. And we got 2K the God from the Gods of Boxing Talk. Till next week, for the movement, hold it down. Peace.
Fuck Adonis Stevenson.
I knew I should have kept your ass motherfucking muted. See, that's why I should have muted your ass. See? But I ain't listening to Bo no more.